Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. Hello, Zulfia. Hello, Kurt. I'm Darren.
Hey,
And
I'm Kurt, like she said, and this is Ilfia in the chat. And we, as you were saying
we
before,
are Adderstone Games, and we create Avallen, a mythical Celtic fantasy world, primarily made for our own role-playing game system, Legends of Avallen, which is a beautiful card-based system that got me into this whole industry. But we're also making a setting guide now, which we're currently funding. Not currently funding. We're currently getting followers on Kickstarter to launch in November, which is a setting world guide that will be compatible with the newest release of 5th edition and our own game. So that's what's up.
Yeah, that is what's up. And we're is that a number we can share? What's our number for the Kickstarter campaign we're running right now, Darren?
Oh, sure. Let me go find it. Oh, did I? I didn't delete it, did I? I'm so useless. I have to go find it. 1 second.
Well, I have it. It's in the chat. If you look at the chat, you can.
You do. You're right. It's right
link
there.
In the chat.
Give it to me. Yeah,
and you can see the number being. Hold on. Should I share to my page? I'm making a post. Yeah, fuck it. I'll share to the Adderstone Games page.
Alright, I've done it. Who's only gone and done it?
Can't believe you've done this.
different expression, but yes. I like how you take the words that I say and just apply it to any random British expression that you might know from meme culture.
Yeah. There's very few that I know. I only know a few of them, I know that. I know shaken not stirred. So if you ever say the word shake, I'll say shaken not stirred. Yeah, those are the two phrases I know. The two British phrases. No, yes. Our stream says Dungeons and Dragons, and we are talking about something that's tangentially related to Dungeons and Dragons, which is our campaign, right?
That's not true. It's directly related. What do you mean tangentially?
Yeah, okay, fine. It is directly related. I mean, obviously, it's related in the sense that you can play Dungeons and Dragons in our world.
Yeah,
and I still have,
which is apparently what everyone's doing on this Twitch category is playing D&D.
That's true. Although I've yet to read 5.5. I will admit. I don't admit that proudly.
Yeah,
but how about you?
I mean, it is a cruel irony of being a designer, creator in any kind of space is that obviously, how do I say this diplomatically? We're in an industry of passion and love, which often means you don't get paid so much, right? Which means you have to grind extra hard to try and make some money, and we're very busy at the moment getting Faeseeker to work, which then means you don't have actually that much time to enjoy the hobby that you've turned into your profession, right? I think that's a cool irony that's probably true of video games, manga translation, movie making, TV show making, just all the things that people love. I think that's probably true all over the shop, really. Yeah.
It's sometimes hard to consume content when you are trying to produce it.
Yeah.
Unless you're a content creator that, whose thing is reacting to what people produce, which is there's a lot of now. I never thought in my younger days that would be a job, but it's a job, so whatever.
Anyway,
whatever.
Well, no, it's great. We need them. React to this. We are making a Faeseeker's Guide to Avallen setting rulebook. So last week on stream, we had 450 followers, and now we're almost at 650. So we've gained 200 in a week, which is excellent.
Yeah. So that's a good number, and that means people are interested. At least 200 more people are interested than last week. So that's a good sign.
Yeah. And a new thing since last week is that now, if you do go to our page, go to the bottom here, there's a link that you can take to sign up to our mailing list, and by doing so, you'll get a PDF setting preview for Avallen.
That's right.
Which is excellent.
Yeah.
Can I show it on? I guess I'll show it on screen.
Yeah. Now, if you already have the books, which Zilfie, I think you do, you probably don't actually need. But look at it. Give us your opinion. See if you.
I think Zilfia has given us her opinion, and she said it was awesome, which was really sweet of her.
Okay, great. Well, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So we got that setting preview, and that's a nice bit. It's a nice little.
Yeah. While I was making this, I noticed we had 3 A's. We have Avallen, Anoon, and Ataraxia. There are like 3 primary factions, major locations, and peoples in our world. Just an interesting
Yeah.
coincidence, really.
Or we just really like the letter A.
Maybe.
Wait. You said, well, there's Unwin.
I mean, it is a coincidence. I mean, we didn't name Anun. That's the...
Anun.
And
Avallen.
we didn't name Avallen. And then Ataraxia...
What would you name?
I mean, I named it Ataraxia, but it is a real Roman word that means what I want it to mean. So...
Yeah. And there's the Penavunk, so there's that. That's the fourth A.
Sure, but yeah.
So there you go. Yeah. And Roman conquerors are assholes. That's another A. That's fifth A. But yeah, the art looks good, and hopefully. Oh, can you track how many people are downloading it, or anything like that?
Yes, but no, in a complicated way. Like.
I see. Okay, so you have to infer it. You have to triangulate the data or something.
Yeah. I have to see how many people have received the email, right? And then you can see how many people have downloaded it from the email through there. So I mean, yeah, the answer is actually yes, but I have to go into my back end.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
I haven't tracked it yet.
I just curious. Yeah, don't worry about that now. We'll do that later off stream. Yeah. So that's good. So yeah, we're running with it, and it's happening, and it's a thing that we're doing, and I'm excited to see it. We're excited to show it, and we're excited to finish writing it, and excited to play it. Yeah. Does that all sound correct? Are those all the things we're excited to do?
So what are we... Oh yeah, I was trying to remember what we're going to do at the beginning of the stream, and I remember now. We're going to show off the tarot cards I was working on, weren't we? Is that what we were doing?
Yeah, please do.
Yeah. So this... I guess, actually, we could talk about some behind-the-scenes stuff, people that are into Kickstarter. Thinking of making their own Kickstarters a bit. It's so what happened? Today we have 648 followers. On our stream last Thursday, we had 450-ish. And the stream a week before that, we had 440-ish, I think. So between last week and now, we gained 200 followers, but the week before that, we only gained 10. And then the week before that, we gained 100. So what's going on there? And the answer is marketing. The cool part of this industry as a creator is that you have to wear many hats, and not all of them are beautifully creative, and one of them is marketing, and primarily on Facebook and Instagram.
And that's really every creative endeavor. That's kind of the bugaboo that people have to do, that everyone hates, but you can't really escape, is putting money into marketing. The same goes for movies. Is a really big example of that, where your movie's considered a failure, where if you don't spend basically as much money as the cost of the movie and then make one. Are you aware of that?
I mean, kinda. Yeah. I mean, just from things, but.
Yeah, but anyway, it's a thing in the creative industries, and you just kind of have to do it. I don't want us to do that. That's a lot of money.
No, we can't match our budget, unfortunately. I can tell you, I am planning to spend 10%, 10% of our Kickstarter funds will be spent on marketing for the Kickstarter itself, which is an unfortunate reality. But it is, it's not that unfortunate really, because you're spending money to get people to see your thing, so then hopefully that they like it. Otherwise, so it's just the way the world goes around.
And that's, I think, an important thing to talk. If someone's watching this stream later, right, or this VOD, and they're curious about how, what do you wish you knew about, before you did your first Kickstarter campaign, which I think is a common question.
Yeah.
I think you'll often hear creators say, I wish I did more for marketing when I did my first game, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of games fail because of that. Because sometimes you'll have something cool and then they won't tell enough people about it. They just kind of expect to get lucky on the algorithm.
Yeah. That's the biggest thing is realizing how much marketing you need to do, and not just posting in communities, spending money, unfortunately, on ads and things. It makes a big difference.
And then you have to ask yourself realistically, let's say I'm the first-time creator. Am I willing to spend this much money, £1,000, $1,000, $2,000 to make $20,000? And do I have $2,000 burn if it doesn't work? Yeah. That's a question that every fucking creator has to ask themselves if they're going to use this platform, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Or should ask themselves. So anyway, that's interesting. Right, so tarot cards.
Yeah, tarot cards, right. Yeah, so what are we doing? So we're making our setting guide. If you back in the first few days, you'll get this free mini of our Celtic warrior on the cover here, which is awesome. And another product that we're putting out is a set of tarot cards. So our game Legends of Avallen uses a deck of playing cards to play, and previously we have made a beautiful deck of cards. These are gorgeous to play with our game. You can use these with 5th edition as well, because we have a mechanic called Fate, and while you're playing the game, the GM will flip over cards to determine what happens to the poor players. And for this Kickstarter, we're making a tarot deck instead, because we've had a lot of people say, hey, you're making playing cards, they're beautiful, can you make a tarot deck? Because I love tarot decks. And I've never had a reason to before now, because the game rules use a poker deck, right? But in this book, we're focusing on the relationship between heroes and the Fae and the gods and the fairy courts. And we have this fairy court renown system in place where you can earn the privileges and blessings of a fairy court by enacting their will in the world. However, gaining the blessings of the Fae are also curses in another light, as we say. And as you use their abilities, if you use them against their will, or if you use them too often, you can be subject to fairy tricks. And we thought it'd be a great idea, instead of having a huge random table of 100 fairy tricks, what if we had 80 tarot cards, each with its own fairy trick on it. And so that's how we combine the idea of a tarot card with the mechanic in the game, put it together, and now we have a good reason to make a tarot deck. So this is going to be an 80 card tarot deck. I think the standard tarot deck is 76 or 78, but because of manufacturing reasons, there'll be 80 cards. I'm not sure what I'll do with the extra 2 or 4 yet. But there'll be tarot cards, traditional tarot cards as always. They'll feature our gorgeous artwork, and they'll also feature a little fairy trick on them that you can subject your players to if they go against the will of the Fae. And so, to tie these two things together, what happened was, for the past few weeks, I've been focusing on the marketing side of things. As you can see, we gained 200 followers, so I've done a fine job, thankfully, but it requires some work.
Good job.
Thank you. And that means I don't have the time to do all what I think is the fun stuff. I actually like the graphic design sometimes. I like making the things, because it turns out that I'm good at it. And so yesterday, I had 3 hours spare, Kurt. I had 3 precious hours where I could do anything that I wanted to do. And I chose to start designing the tarot cards. So we can finally show them off on stream. So what have I got? Okay. I guess we'll just get straight into it. So this is where I'm at the moment. This is still draft. And Zilpha, you can tell me what you think. This is the first draft. That's not true. This is like the 3rd or 4th draft of the tarot card. But there's a few things going on here. One is these Celtic knotwork patterns are done by a new illustrator on our team, Olivia. She is actually an intern. She's studying art at a local university in Cardiff, and approached me and asked if there's anything she could do for me. And I said, yep, we're doing some tarot cards, you can help out. And so she designed these knotworks here. The background patterns are actually from my previous deck of cards, and that, for a business perspective, is efficient, but also means that if you get these cards and the old cards, they'll kind of match together. They have similar aspects to them, which I'm still pleased with. And this is all just placeholder at the moment. This artwork will change. Oh, Sylvia, thank you, Sylvia. You're right. I'm not showing my screen right now.
I thought you were just looking for them. Thank you, Sylvia. I thought you were looking for the cards.
Yeah. We'll cut this. We'll cut this in the thing. Okay, here we go.
Pulling them up.
Let's start again. Yeah, there's the first draft of the tarot card. Or first draft I'm ready to show. Yeah. So yeah, I was talking about this not work at the top here. This is all new from our intern. The background patterns are the ones I've used for my previous deck of cards. This artwork is placeholder. This is artwork from our previous book that was on one of our previous cards. I do not think this will be on the final version. We'll be using all new artwork. This is just now for testing reasons. Also, I don't know, if this artwork, a kind of artwork like this would be associated with the tower. This is just all placeholder text and things, just to test font size and things like that. And then down here we have an example of a fairy trick. Again, rough draft that I've written. So this is all just placeholder text, but we can still read it. The trick's called Time Drags On. And it says, you vanish into a deserted world. You wait, I guess I should say wait for what feels like years, and then suddenly reappear again. You have changed, but nothing else has. So if that happens to you in the middle of play, I don't know how you would react, but that's your job to figure out as a player. And there's a nature of the fairy tricks. And yeah, so this is where these are all for the major arcana. So there's like the tower, there's death, there's the emperor, the empress, those kind of things. And so the major arcana will have this not white patterns and feature a character or an object that represents the major arcana. At the moment, I'm a bit worried that it's a bit too purple. Like our previous decks had, I guess I can show you on screen because I have them here.
Oh, you mean purple? Purple, like literally purple in terms of color, not purple as in terms of prose.
The prose, yeah, I mean literally purple. So
the prose is very purple. I don't know. That was fine.
Yeah. So I guess maybe as people that support these kind of projects, you're probably quite used to seeing like at least final mock-up versions, but this is still very much draft. So you can see, actually, there you go. There's the same character from this card. On this card, this is a black card, but I don't know if it's difficult to see on camera. But the card itself is blue, but then the knotwork pattern behind it is silver. So there's kind of two color schemes going on, blue with silver, and then the red cards are red with gold. So there's two kind of colors. Now I tried to do that with this, and I really, really struggled to. Like gold didn't fit with the purple, silver didn't fit with the purple. Doing other color, like green is like a complementary kind of color, but it looks way too garish. So I ended up going with like a muted kind of silver purple with purple. And I like it, but I do think maybe it's a bit too purple, so I'm still trying to figure that on that. Sylvie says, you can read out what Sylvie said, I've been talking too much.
No, good, hold on.
You don't have the stream up on your phone? Oh my god.
No, I have it, but I don't have the chat. Hold on, I got it here. I like it. Zilphia, I'm reading out for you. You said, Zilphia said that they love it. I love a healthy level of chaos with their players, and as for the purple, just need to offset with the tower pick.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
So that's the major arcana, but then we have the minor arcana as well. And so let me open up here an example of what we're planning here. At the moment, we don't. Well, do I want to say that? Maybe, I don't know. But my current plan is. Here we go. Here's a good example. Is for the minor arcana. So the minor arcana are like the spades, hearts, clubs, and diamonds. In a tarot deck, they are wands, swords, cups, and coins, or sometimes pentacles, depending on your variety. We're going with coins. And they're the standard 1, 2, or ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then jack, queen, king, but it's actually page. I already forgotten. Page, prince, queen, and king, I think. There's like 4 of them instead. Anyway, for these cards, I really like the idea of doing panoramas. And so that's what I'm currently working on. And so because of that, they have like a borderless look to them. So for the major arcana, there's like this strong framing and the knotwork, and there's going to be the character or the object in the middle. But for the panorama, there's less knotwork around the edge, and it will end up being panorama sets of cards that you could put together to make a full illustration, which I think looks pretty cool. What do you think, Kurt?
I think it looks cool as well. I'm not an expert in tarot cards or tarot cards, as they might say in the Southern America, or some places in America. But I guess my one thing is I'm not sure about. Do they put like? I've seen tarot decks that have the objects, right? 3 of Wands will have 3 wands on it.
Yeah.
But this is part of a larger panorama. Are we planning, or do you want to put icons on them to indicate that, or is just
yeah. So there is maybe. So I don't know if that's an issue, but there is like each of the borders will be different. So the wands has a wand on it, at least on the border.
Okay.
So, but you're right. I might consider adding like wands above here or something. I'm not sure.
I mean, like for example, on the top there, that looks like a wand. If it were a different color, or if it was just like obvious that it was like maybe
make that part of it a different color, yeah.
And then but make it 1, 2, 3. I mean, but then once you get, how many wands are there? What does it go up to?
It goes up to 10, dude. Yeah.
So then 10 of wands has like 10 wands in a row.
Yeah. So that's like there are other ways of doing tarot cards.
Yeah.
The two traditional ways is one is to do it like a deck of cards, where I just put them away, but now I'm getting back out again. Whereas here's an example is a 9. So a 9 of diamonds will literally have 9 diamonds on it, and that's obviously quite boring, especially if you're trying to be somewhat evocative to like a fairy trick. You kind of want an illustration there, at least a hint to what's going on. And just having 9 wands on a piece of card, I don't think would quite do it.
Yeah, that's true.
The other traditional way of doing it is showing a person holding a bunch of 9 wands, like literally. That's what they'll do.
Yeah.
Just a guy standing there clutching 9 wands, and that's.
Sure,
I don't really think that is any different. Really, it's kind of boring. So.
Yeah. No, so maybe you're right. Maybe it's just the icon, and then the Roman numeral will make it grokkable.
So another part of it as well, a piece of the puzzle that you're missing, is that this border is red. This border is purple. Well, what's the border of the coins, for example? Where is the coin panorama? The coins are green. So each what am I trying to say? Each suit in I'm trying to find a good artwork to use. I guess this one's fine. Each suit in a tarot deck is associated with an element, and so wands are fire, and coins are earth, and so hence the border is green. And then also to play off that theme, the artwork that I'll be using for the panoramas will also be, obviously for the ones it's fire related, it's a fire with a dragon here, or a Duraig. And for the coins, it is this reception of heroes in the forest. So I think that even if you necessarily can't see the coins so clearly at the top here, obviously it says 3 of coins, but you'll know because of the colours which suit is which. And similar to a normal deck where spades and clubs are black and hearts and diamonds are red, there'll be 4 colours. And that's why Magic Armor is purple. Yeah.
So here's another design consideration that we've talked about before, but it's worth talking about again. I think now that we have it, like you said, this art is for placement, right? But
this art is
FPO for placement only. Like it'll change. It could change, right? Like depending on the suit or whatever.
Yeah, placeholder. Yeah.
Placeholder. But for example, we're gonna try to have 3 tarot cards that uses this panorama because this is what it is, right?
Yeah.
But as we're designing and we're placing the panoramas, how strongly do we want the fairy tricks to orient to what's being depicted in the card?
And I think that's kind of fun for 2 reasons. One, we did a whole stream where we tried to design fairy tricks, and it was kind of difficult in a way, just because of the blank paper problem, right?
Yeah.
Whereas if we actually have a piece of artwork, like designing a fairy trick around this, A, seems exciting, and B, I think we can come up with a bunch of ideas that relate. And then designing a fairy trick around this, which is some kind of otherworldly, watery scene, is obviously completely
like
different.
An ambush.
Yeah.
Right. So or like
I think that will actually be useful
or something.
in a way. And again, kind of using our game design hats here, because the fairy tricks can be anything really. We can really help tie them together with the artwork and hopefully with the meaning of the card as well, because different cards have different meanings. And so I think part of our process will be picking artwork that kind of helps with the meanings, and then B, designing a fairy trick that ties the meaning of the card with the image together, and that'll be our 2 prompts that kind of fall out with what we have in mind. And so I really want to make the fairy tricks super thematic with what's going on in the card and the card's tarot meanings as well. So I think that'll be a lot of fun, and I think we could definitely do it as well.
Okay, good. Yeah. Just want to make sure that we're on the same page there. I wouldn't want this one with the Avant on it to be like fresh cakes in your pantry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And another part of that as well is that this artwork, won't end up being used for the 3 of Cups, right? It has to be maybe the higher end of things, right? It'll probably be the King of Cups, right?
Sure.
It has to be something that's worthy of the illustration too. So that's also part of it. Yeah.
Agreed. But I mean, fundamentally though, I think design looks good. I think what was your intern's name again?
Olivia. Yeah.
Olivia. I think Olivia's doing a splendid job. as an intern. So that's wonderful to see. Cool. Yeah. It's and do we have? I mean, you're still going through the artwork, commissioning artwork, right? So the artwork that we're projecting to have will also fall into this at some point.
Yeah, exactly. So, all the artwork I'm using. Actually, no, this is a new piece. This will probably be one of the pieces that's used in the cards. But at the moment, I'm primarily I'm just testing the idea with old artwork that we have. On the Kickstarter page, you're not going to see this many cards in the end. I think haven't yet figured out what you'll see. But I imagine it will be one major arcana like this, and then probably one panorama with an explanation that the panoramas will be suited to the elements and theming of the traditional tarot readings of the cards. So I don't think you'll end up even seeing this many. I think you're now seeing more cards than you'll see officially on our launch page. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And then the point of what I'm saying there is that then once the project is funded, we'll be getting loads of new artwork coming in, and so a lot of these images will be changing to some of the new depictions. Yeah.
Right. And so that's another thing for you out there in Kickstarter land. You want to support real human art? Support the Annie-nominated art of Legends of Avallen. Plug. So go ahead. Yeah, I'm excited to continue the design work on this stuff and to see what comes in, because exactly what you talked about is our favorite fairy trick might not even be able to exist yet because the art for it isn't in. So
that will be difficult. Like, it will be the last thing we have to do, and it's kind of the most important thing, perhaps, really. But I do think that it will be fine because they're so flexible. I think that was part of what we learned on the stream, is that fairy tricks could be anything really within reason, because it's supposed to be tricky and fairy magic, so you shouldn't really expect it. So they should be random and different. So there's a lot of flexibility there.
And it's also one of the elements I love most about any kind of design, whether it's creative design, improv and music, whatever, writing, where you create these associations that can only exist because of that. Like, we're not forcing it, right?
Exactly. Like, there'll be fairy tricks that we wouldn't even dreamed of thinking of, except by the way of us looking at artwork and the meaning of a tarot card and try and put them together, and it will give us new inspiration. And then, so what was very satisfying about yesterday doing that, admittedly, I didn't actually do it in the 3 hours I had slotted. I did it in the 3 hours I had slotted, plus time after dinner, when I'm, but I was very pleased because until that point, it had all been ideas that I had in my head, right? This is the kind of way I want to do this. I think it's going to work this way. I think it's going to look really good. But until that point, all I had was black and white border designs, right? And I didn't know if I could make it look sexy. As I say, I try to make things look sexy. And I was very pleased as it slowly came together that I think it looks sexy. I'm very pleased with how it looks. And it looks kind of cohesive with our previous deck of cards as well, which will also be available for the Kickstarter. So it'll be like a set, really. They're kind of a pair. What I haven't done yet is done the back of the card. And so again, behind the scenes stuff now, if you don't see the back of the card on the Kickstarter page, it's because I didn't have time to do it. I have an idea of what it will look like. I'm pretty sure
it's going to be...
Yeah, go on. Yeah, what's it going to be?
It's just going to be the stream. It's just going to be the screen cap just turned on its side. It's just me and you like this. No,
terrible. It's again, the intern came in clutch. She's kind of made a knot pattern, like a circle knot pattern that features the 4 suits inside it: the cup, the sword, the thing.
Great.
And at the moment, my current plan is to color each of them the same color as the suits. So it'll be almost like a bloody magic wheel, color pie. It'll be like yellow, red, green, and blue, and other things going on. And it'll look similar to the previous deck as well, but again, different colors and different patterns. So that's my intent. But again, if you don't see it, it's because I just didn't have time to get it done.
Yeah, but it's as long as people understand what it is. You've done a great job with the back so far, and it's good. Oh, by the way, Zofia says big support to the artist, and also it's very sexy. It's very sexy.
Good.
Singular.
Thank you.
Now, before we move on to the Kickstarter and before we segue into something else, I did have a flash of insight, because tarot decks, as we've also talked about before, don't exist they're not a thing in ancient Iron Age Wales, right? Tarot
Sure,
decks
yeah, it is a
appeared,
cruel irony of Legends of Avallen that we're making an Iron Age inspired game and we use decks of cards rather than dice, when we know dice did indeed exist back then, but decks of cards did not. So,
however,
however,
so what I'm basically, we've also established, however, that in the other world there is a bit of an anachronistic element to it, that
sure.
they're creating stuff.
Yeah.
Like, for example, in the land of the realm of the Pen Cower, they have every game ever made, including many that have not been invented yet.
True, yeah.
Can
Yeah,
we
actually, yeah, go on, sorry, you keep going.
basically, can we, in our canon, have the Fae, the Tillis invent tarot decks in their world, and that's how it seeps into ours, even though it's not, it's not a thing that
I'm not against the idea. I'll tell you that.
All right. What do you? Yeah, that's.
I mean,
that's
actually, there is some precedence for that. Let me go back to screen share again. There is some precedence for that. So let me find this artwork in the annals.
Because the whole thing is, the tricky part about what we're doing is that even though we're writing about Iron Age stuff, you can't help but be influenced by all the stuff that came after, right? Which is contemporaneous with tarot decks and occultism and whatever, right? Like 1700s, 1800s writings. That's where a lot of the myths that we know about. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Oh, perfect. So it has to be canon. It has to be in the myth.
Yeah. So for our first deck of cards, which I made for the Legends of Avallen Kickstarter for the original launch of the game, it's funny when I made that deck, I thought they were so beautiful and again so sexy. And they still are, but compared to what we made for Against the Faerie Queen, the Against the Faerie Queen knocks them out of the park. Anyway, I had this illustration done of the Everchild, and I knew that the Everchild is a god of games and tricks. And so I just thought it'd be a cheeky reference if I had the Everchild holding the deck of cards that they are being depicted on. So you can see that the Everchild is actually holding themselves. Right? They are holding multiple cards of themselves.
Oh shit! And then is she on the? Are they on the cards that are inside on the cards on the card?
Yeah, they're on the cards, and then they're on that card there, and it goes on forever, right? So I thought that was fun. Yeah, a fun reference.
Everchild's all the way down.
Yeah, Everchild's all the way down. So then, obviously, I guess there is an implication that these cards exist in the other world. Yeah.
Sorry, I said Everchilds as if child is the correct plural for Everchild.
I mean, as in you'd say Everchildren instead.
Yeah, it's Everchildren all the way down. The Epicene. Well, that's an interesting word. We use the word Epicene, right? Yeah. To describe the Everchild's Fae and so on. And that's a very pretty word for, what do you call it? Basically non-binary or like of.
Yeah.
Gender, right? But what's really interesting is that there's no other cool words other than Epicene. There's no like other good synonyms for Epicene. Are there? Do you know any other?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's like the word. Aside from like, if I look it up on. Anyway, this is a tangent that we can get into. Later.
But I did want to shout out our my intern again as well. It's part of like her project for this. I said we're making a tarot deck. She made me a like summary PDF of everything that she'd researched into tarot decks beforehand, and it's honestly amazing. I'm gonna be using this the whole way through. She made like a cheat sheet for the meanings of cards, including the upright version and the reverse version. I did for a second, dude. I did consider having the fairy trick text be upside down on the card.
Oh, sure.
So because there's the thing in tarot cards whether the card is upright or if it's reversed, and in reversed it has a reverse meaning that's usually worse and detrimental to the drawer, to the fates.
I mean, you're not done designing yet, my friend.
Yeah, well, I tried it and it just looked a bit strange, having a text box at the bottom and the text in it being upside down. But I'd still kind of like the idea of you having to turn the card upside down to read the fairy trick, because then it's a reverse tarot card, which means something, right?
No, just put it on the back of the card.
That's definitely worse. Thank you.
Nothing worse.
Yeah. But yeah, for example, here, the Fool, right? The Fool. Now, you see the word Fool and you think you know what that means, but actually the meaning of the Fool is innocence and new beginnings, right?
Right.
And it's the reverse of the Fool, which is recklessness and inconsideration, which might be what you traditionally think of with the Fool. And again, the Magician, the upright reading is manifestation and desire, and it's the reverse version is trickery and illusions, right? So it kind of feels right if we had the fairy tricks be upside down, so you have to turn the card to get to the trick side. Yeah, what you gonna say?
I kind of like these, and I wonder is there a way to put these terms on the card without making it look wonky?
No, I don't. I mean, you can do, but I think like the fun part of tarot cards is
the interpretation.
Is the interpretation and looking it up. So maybe we could print something like this in the book, perhaps.
Oh, sure, yeah, that I agree with. Yeah,
because
like we do our take on it and teach people how to read tarot cards for Avallen in a game setting.
Yeah, we can tie them into our role as well.
Yeah. So that stuff is usually I see. That stuff is usually added to a little booklet that comes with the card. Thank you, Zilphia, for your expertise.
I think part of the fun is literally getting the card and then going, oh, what does it mean? And then looking it up in the book. Right. I really think that's actually part of the experience. And if you put it on the card, it would actually make the cards worse somehow, even though they'd be more.
I see. No, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
You're revealing the plot. I got you. Well, yeah. Say no more. That was. What do you call
look
it?
at this. So the suit of wands associated with fire represents passion, inspiration, and willpower. I desire the soul. And then 8. Like, what does the 8 of wands mean, Kurt? And it turns out it means movement and quick decisions. And the reverse of it is panic and waiting. Whereas 9 is resilience and grit.
Zilphia has a few decks that you can show us on Discord. I do want. So, if you have any PDFs that you got or like handy from decks that you like, I would love to see them.
I think she's just going to share photos. I think is what's going to happen.
Oh, share photos. Also that, just share photos of the cards is good.
Anyway, so back to this PDF, the intern. So she did all that, which is going to be super useful going forward. And then she also gave examples of tarot decks. So I can show you some examples here. Of like this is like one of the traditional tarot decks printed. And you can see the major arcana have these beautiful illustrations of people and objects.
Yeah.
But then the minor arcana, they're just very simple illustrations that feature like multiple cups. And to be fair, 4 of cups has a dude sitting by a tree. 5 of cups is a shadow dude. So there is some meaning here, right?
Yeah. I mean, I love these. I love this like old style. Was it Aleister Crowley style? It reminds me of like how comic artists of the modern age who are into the occult, like Alan Moore. That's the art that they often draw on. Like Alan Moore and what's his face? The guy who did Watchmen. Or is that Alan Moore? Anyway, Neil Gaiman and Alan Moore, Sandman and but I love that kind of art. And she did a great job. So if you're looking for an internship at a game company, and then they can hire you for a job, I feel like if we have the resources to hire this person, I'm like, oh man, she's killing it.
Well, yeah, that's part of it as well. And she's going to experiment with drawing some illustrations for the cards for me in this kind of traditional style. And if it does well, then I'll definitely be hiring her to do the rest of them. But then another thing she did was find other tarot cards for fantasy properties and see what they look like. And a particularly informative one was the Skyrim deck one, because the Skyrim deck was heavily critiqued because the minor arcana, like the 3 of Swords, literally had 2 X's and a sword on it, and that's kind of what a traditional deck of playing cards has. But again, it's not very evocative, So we kind of vowed not to do that, hence the panoramas.
Sure. And I guess, do you think that do we have to be that's something we'll come to that bridge when we cross it, I guess, about whether or not it'll work for us. Like we're trying it, and this is the best way that we can do it, right? So
sure. They'll look great.
I
think they'll work.
Very
cool. I think they'll be different as well because I don't think there's many panorama tarot card decks.
Does that add to it too at all? Like, oh, these line up, so something magical happens.
Yeah, because I mean, part of tarot cards is lining them up, right, and revealing them one by one to see if it. Now, obviously, then it's not going to. There's going to be different mismatched artworks there, but that could tell its own story in a way. And if you do happen to get some in the row that match, well, that also tells a story. So I think that could be interesting.
Sure. Okay.
Anyway, we've kind of our little introductions kind of ballooned for 45 minutes, and it's because I don't want to do work today. But,
what are you talking about? Work's so much fun. We're going to talk about the Kickstarter and get more numbers together and ask if you have any questions and you're watching the stream and you want to run a Kickstarter of your own for your own game. Yeah. This is the time. This is the stream. This is the place.
Yeah.
So go ahead and Zilphia, I'm sure she's working on her cosplay empire Kickstarter, right? Right, Zilphia?
Yeah.
Just kidding.
So what are we doing today? Today previously on the Adderstone Games podcast, we analysed other Kickstarter pages. Specifically, we analysed our own page from Against the Faerie Queen. This is our previous Kickstarter. Looking at what was on the page, what order information was presented in. And then we looked at Historica Arcanum, which is a currently live Kickstarter that I would encourage you to support if you're interested in Renaissance.
Yeah. They're very nice people.
Yeah.
And we've had some interaction with them. Apparently, the last stream.
Yeah. So that's actually kind of funny. In the stream, I mentioned there's no way that they'll find the stream because our YouTube videos don't get particularly many views. But as I was uploading the uploading the video to YouTube, I did have this little tickle in my head that was like, well, actually, Darren, if you mention their name in the video description, if they have a Google alert set up, so that I don't know if you know this is a thing you can do where you can ask Google to send you an email whenever a term is mentioned on a web page on the internet anywhere, and you'll get an alert from them that says, oh, this page here has mentioned this term. And I did that for Legends of Avallen for a while. I think I still do, and I guess I haven't had an email for a while because no one's talking about Legends of Avallen anymore. But that's because we're not publicising. Yeah, exactly. Forums and things like that. Anyway, so I thought to myself, if I mention their name in the description, if they have an alert, they'll find out about this. And literally within 6 hours of uploading the YouTube video, they were commenting on the video, one of them particularly was laughing at the fact that I said, I bet no one from their team will see this. And then I asked him, I said, hey, did you see this because of a Google alert? And he was like, yeah. So I was like, yeah. I figured it out. Anyway, they gave some feedback on our feedback, which is fun. They're nice folk. And they said that I should email them sometime if I have any questions. So we should think of some questions to ask them because that would be interesting.
Sure.
But anyway, the point of the main stream was, you go.
I mean, like, their campaign's going on. Well, I mean, maybe this is an off-stream conversation, right? Like, whether or not because what I like about their campaign is that they're doing something similar to us, right? Which is they're taking history and they're making a role-play game around it. It's just a different period from us. Yeah. So I think a lot of people who would support this campaign would also support would also get a kick out of ours, and vice versa. So I don't know. I think it'd be cool to have them on the stream and just talk about game design, and they could do that, and that might be fun. I don't know.
To interview them? Yeah, good day.
Yeah, we could interview them and just talk about game design and for an hour and see how they feel about stuff and their process of writing and their team, and I think that's interesting.
Yeah, and that would be great as well because I think the main criticism I have of their page is I still don't know what the book is about. I want to know what the book's like and what it's about, and I think maybe it's just a collection of.
Oh no! I mean the Kickstarter. Yeah, the Kickstarter PDF does have some of the information there, but well, anyway, that's your call to make and their call to make. Obviously.
Yeah. Maybe I will approach them and ask them about that. Anyway, the point is, their Kickstarter page was very different to our Kickstarter page, the way they structured it, and so we analysed that on the previous stream. And I said off stream in my homework time, I would analyse another page that we liked that did well, which is the Monsoon one, and I did do that. And the conclusion was their page is actually pretty much the same as our previous page as well. So this is the traditional Kickstarter structure. So really it's Historica Arcanum that's really sticking out as being very different. And so today's stream is us planning our Kickstarter page and deciding whether we want to stick to our traditional approach or if we want to use their approach or a hybrid of the two. I'm likely to say a hybrid, but that's what we're doing today. Cool. Yeah. You good to go?
Well, let's do as much as we can in the next 70 minutes.
Yeah.
Or however much time we have on our stream. So where do we start, Darren? You're gonna open up a document, I assume?
Yeah, we're gonna open a document. Stream ideas. This is where everything goes from the stream. And Zilfi, actually, if you're still, of course you're still here. You're wonderful. You can hear us, right? Can you tell me if Kurt or I am louder than the other one? Because I would like to turn Kurt up personally, but on previous streams he was too loud, so I've turned him down since then, and I think it's kind of the right level. But if anyone was louder than the other one, I'd like to know. You go on.
I'm also naturally loud.
Yes,
so that's
you are.
Just kind of,
that's part of it.
Yes, I'm like a trumpet in my chest.
Yeah.
It's my theater upbringing.
It's a beautiful thing.
Zilfi says that both of us sound good on her end. So
okay, that's what I feared. Yeah, we did it, but that means I can't turn you up. But that's okay. You're quiet in my ear, but that's fine.
Sorry.
No, it's not your fault. Okay, what am I doing? Right. We are planning the Kickstarter page. So what happened? In the end, I kind of want to lean into their structuring a little bit, but change the things that I would want to change. So I wrote down here, after analysing all three of those, Hours, Monsoons, and Historic Arcanum, I said, take lessons from Historica, but add more of us. The lessons I learned from them was show before telling, and admittedly, I think the campaign page is more show, don't tell. And if you do tell, keep it very minimal. I still want to tell, but I will restrain myself and not tell as much, but it's still going to have to be show before tell. Whereas I think in Against the Fairy Queen and in Monsoon, they tell before showing. So yeah, show before tell, build anticipation, and then allow tell to be skippable by having it be brief. These are the main lessons that I've learned to change the way House is done.
And I guess maybe when I think of Monsoon's defense, maybe they tell before show because they just have so many images on their page, so it becomes a little. Do you think that's part of it? Like you kind of have to.
Yeah. But no. I mean, what I mean is, okay, I'll show you the Monsoon page. Is that literally, they'll have a section, and it will often begin with text, right? Avatar boss battles is a heading, and then there's a bunch of text here, and then there's an image. Now you could have just done the image first. I mean, I would literally keep all this the same, and I would put the image first and then put the text underneath it.
And put the text second,
Because what we learned from their Historic Arcanum page is that, look at the stuff, and if you're interested in this stuff and you think, oh, this is cool, I want to learn more, well, then there's the text to read it. But otherwise, you might just skip over the text, look at the picture, and then you have to literally scroll back up again if you want to learn more, which is just... Yeah.
But maybe that's a feature. Okay, I'm not gonna defend it. I'm saying. What I'm trying to say though is that could be a feature rather than a bug, right?
Yeah. No, I disagree.
Yeah. Okay. But I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm wondering if that's the strategy. But fundamentally, though, I think you're right. I think it's okay to show the image, get them interested, and then draw them into text, and you want to have a smooth flow down the page where they get the information and get interested.
It also matters then for the next section as well, because I get to the bottom of the section here of Avatar and bosses, and then if I want to read more about it again, I still have to scroll up, right? But if I don't want to read more about it, I want to go to the next thing, well then I'm confronted with more text.
Right.
Because that's where they put the text in the next section. Whereas if this image was next, then it'll draw me to the next section as well. Like, ooh, what's this squid person, right? Then scroll down, look at it. If I want to learn about it, then there's a text at the end to read about. Anyway, so that fundamental change.
I got you.
So I think in the end, I want to use their structure, but add more explanation into it, which then maybe that ruins everything, right? But we'll see.
Sure. Well, we can make our judgment.
Yeah,
make a judgment call on that.
So I'm literally going to copy and paste their structure, and then we're going to add notes to it. I think is my plan.
Yep, I know that.
And then the no social. Yeah. So I think we do want social media links at the end as well.
Yeah, and so I think a thing to note about this too is we're clearly taking inspiration from other structures, and that's really important for marketing because it's a thing that there's like expectations of a structure, right? It's like using a 5-act structure when you're writing your movie, right? Like we just need
dude, you could write a PhD on RPG Kickstarter pages. Like if I had all the time in the world, I would love to go back and see all the pages and see the evolution of pages through time, right?
Yeah.
Because they've changed so much in just 4 years, let alone 8-10 years. I think it's been going now, and you can really see like literally the evolution of them. And anyway, that's a whole other topic. But they're all influenced by each other. And
the Kickstarter metagame, but it's it's still relevant. It's salient to the conversation at hand because we're talking about Kickstarter stuff. So, all right. So this is what we're trying to go with and figure out how to talk about it.
Okay. So, starting with opening art with quote. This is what everyone does. This is no different. We're going to do the same. And now the question is, I guess, we should choose the structure first and then add bits to it. Because I'm thinking like we could talk about here like what we might include on the artwork and what the quote might be. But if we do that, then we should do a bit at a time. So let's just accept what the structure will be first. And then they had the why back now thing, and I think that was a really great idea. And we should include that as well.
Sure. Was it only text, or was that text and image?
It was. I mean, all the text is in an image, but it was.
I guess text image.
I mean, it was.
Right. On Circa Arcana.
Oh, actually, it's gone now. It's gone now. They got rid of it
because they started. And they already funded.
No, because they got rid of the early bird deal. So for them, that was just for early bird deals. But I still think we should have a why back on Kickstarter. Like right now, I still think they should have a thing here saying why you should back it on Kickstarter instead of waiting until later, right?
Right.
I think they should still have that. So it's a good job we checked it last week as opposed to this week, so we can see that. So yeah, I do wonder if that section why back now should be at least after showing off something, right? Like maybe after the project summary at a glance. I guess there's the product pics there, which shows off the thing. Yeah, so anyway, I'm not sure if this section should be under the next section or not, but that's neither here or there. We can always switch it later.
Sure. I mean, and it's kind of flow agnostic. Is it flow agnostic? I mean, part of me feels like it should be under the project summary, but I don't know. You're right. Like we can move it later. So
yeah. You gone?
And how many points do you think you're making in the white back now section? Is it
so that'll be like going into like what's on there, but I mean I can still say so. There's a few reasons, right? Obviously, there's the mini for early backers that changes later on because it won't be there anymore for them. But then for everyone else as well, on Kickstarter you'll be getting it at a discount compared to getting it at retail as later on. There's also like supporting us, right? If we don't get support here, it never gets made, right? Supporting independent creators, supporting creators.
Yeah. Okay, no AI? Is that okay to say?
Supporting creators, no AI, that kind of thing. Another part of it as well for backers is that they will receive it earlier than retail pre-orders. You'll have shipping priority, or not shipping priority. You'll receive it before months before let's say before retail. So you'll be the first to receive it. You'll be first to receive it. Kickstarter discount and bundles, and your name will be immortalized in the book, right? You'll be acknowledged in the credits. You'll be a part of the book. You'll be a part of the book. Now, I guess I would like to see what they had written on there previously to see if there's anything that I've missed. But fortunately, we captured it on camera. We could go back to our previous stream and have a look. So I'll do that off stream to check. But they're the things that I'm thinking about. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway.
That's look at us streaming. Streaming has a very practical historical archiving effect.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, project summary at a glance, then product section. I think this is all good, and then having the preview PDF immediately, I think is also good. So the main thing that we've learned from the Kickstarter page is that previously by this point, I've had like a big block of text explaining stuff, at least multiple times. But instead they're mostly visual, getting you excited about the project, and then giving you a preview PDF. Then back with confidence. I think that's all fine. Now this is the section where I think we might deviate. At this point, I feel like there should be some explanation as to what it is that you're backing, but they immediately go to the pledge levels, and pledge tables, add-ons, bundles, stretch goals, that kind of stuff. And then later on, they introduce the world. And to me, it feels like it's too far away, and I want to move all this stuff closer to the top, at least. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's interesting. Because, like you said last week, it's hard to say without. That feels like a thing that would depend on how it looks. Because, like you were mentioning on the stream last time about their campaign, you liked how unified some of because it was like black, right?
Yeah.
So maybe they could get away with having it further down for some reason. I don't know, because of how it's integrated. I mean, I kind of agree with you. Yeah. I prefer it when I know what the world is about a little bit earlier, so I can say, "Oh, that's interesting," and get drawn into it.
Yeah.
Rather than being advertised to a bunch.
Yeah, exactly. You felt like you're really being advertised to a lot. So by comparison to Monsoon, which is also a successful Kickstarter, selling multiple books, they have the opening picture with the quote. Like I said, everyone does that. Here's what's inside the summary. They have text, and they have the preview. Then they have the pledges, and then they immediately get into some details. Like here's the new moon deck system, right? Then they have, here's the avatar boss battle. So they have like a section for features of the book. Here's a big feature of the book, artwork to go with it, explanation, playable races, thematic subclasses, craftable items. So for Historic Arcanum, when I said I don't know what's in the book, that's what I feel like. It's like I don't know what are the major features of this book except the world that it's in, right? For Faeseekers, we also have these strong features. We have the clan origins. We have the Faerie Court Renown system. We have the Fae abilities, blessings. We have the tarot deck. We have the monsters. We have magic items. We have the world lore. All this stuff that I feel like people would want to know is in the book, and it would excite them to get it. And it seems so strange to me to not mention these things. I mean, not elaborate on these things. Obviously, I'm pretty sure Historic Arcanum mentions what's in it, but he doesn't really elaborate, except on this Art of War thing.
Well, I guess, didn't they, like, as you get further into it, don't they talk about it more in depth as you scroll down, and also in their PDF, I guess?
Yeah.
Right? Am I wrong there yet?
I think you're a bit wrong. Like, there's the Art of War system. But I don't
because that's what they have what to expect there, right? At the above that, like the storyline summary.
But this is a storyline summary. It's still not telling me what's in the book.
Sure.
Yeah. Art of War. So this is like a extra game system, Vita Team Tradition, soundtrack. Who are these books for? More details, but that's not really. And then that's it. There's nothing like monsters or character origins or subclasses or magic items or...
Which is mostly in the PDF, right?
No, it's not in the PDF either.
They have a monster in the PDF.
They have a monster in the PDF, yeah. But I don't... They have a monster in the PDF, but that doesn't tell me... Like, does it have a bestiary? Are there going to be many, many monsters? Or is this like one monster that's part of a quest line? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Sure.
Whereas I would want to say... We have a full bestiary full of folkloric Celtic monsters, over 20 or 30 of them. Each will have its own, tales to tell and different tiers of information that are, common knowledge, local experts, and dark secrets, you know? This is stuff that, as a GM, I would want to know and get excited about. Because it's like, oh, crap, so if I get this book and I want to include a Spriggan in it, then I know that I can tell players this information, and players that are experts might know this, but then this is like a secret that they'll only ever find out if they investigate it or do a quest about it, that kind of thing. And the secret changes the interpretation of this monster, and as a monster like that to me as a GM is exciting. Now I'm trying to make a book that I would find exciting because I think other people would find exciting. And I'd want people to know that that's a feature of the book, right? Imagine not saying that. Imagine just having monster stat block and saying, yeah, there'll be monsters. But I mean, I guess our preview would have that feature, but you'd have to get the preview. Like, it should be on the page as well to make you want to go, oh, I want to see what that's like. Download the preview and have a look. You see what I mean? So.
Yeah. I mean, because like, I agree with you that if whatever's cool about your book, you want to put on the page.
Yeah.
But then where you put it matters. I think from their point of view, putting a bunch of that stuff towards the end means you can basically talk about it forever, right?
Yeah.
Like, whereas if you put that stuff more towards the end and then you sort of put your advertising towards the beginning, in a lot of ways that's a possibly valid sales strategy. Yeah. You just tell them enough that they need to know. Like what you just talked, like the feature you're talking about with, the GM players guide, that's a great feature, but they don't need to know that right now, right?
Yeah, maybe.
At least most people that would buy the book wouldn't have to need to know that up front. Now, you're right, it is a cool selling point, but then, it's a question of information hierarchy. Yeah. So in that sense, it might be better going at the end.
That said, actually, to be fair, maybe we don't need to decide this all now, because the way the Kickstarter pages works, a lot of this information is, the order of it is very interchangeable. Like, once we've done the preview PDF section and the project summary at a glance section, we can literally copy and paste and move them around. Like, it's not like a narrative flow, even though you do want your page to flow, quote unquote flow. The order of it really can be changed. So maybe we just need to decide what we want on our page and what we want to keep, and then maybe we should talk about what should be in those sections.
Okay, yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe instead I should reevaluate and say, do we want this kind of section in there? Yes or no? Right?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. All right, let's do that instead then.
So, do we want a project summary?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Product
you want to show our product?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Preview PDF. Yeah. Backward confidence. Again, this is one that I didn't have before and one Moonsea didn't have, but we kind of said that we liked what they wrote there, right? We kind of liked that idea.
I mean, another way to think about it though is how long? Like for example, scroll up. What the other section we just wrote? I'm looking at your document. Just scroll up a tiny bit of the place where we just wrote a bunch of notes.
Why back?
On the why back. Yeah, like could that be? Does that make sense to sort of have that be one section? Like, are those kind of the same thing? Like, why back now?
Confidence.
And then
maybe.
Yeah, you can back with confidence.
But I feel like
it should just be its own thing.
Yeah, I think there's an advantage to having it as different things because then you get reminded of it multiple times, right? As opposed to all information being in one spot.
Sure, and you're subliminally saying, or superliminally saying, back this project. Yeah, fair.
Yeah, like where did they say that? Back with confidence. Where was that? Remind ourselves what's in there.
Yeah.
Wait.
Actually, another good note argument for making text embedded into the campaign rather than images. Because it's hard to find.
Back with confidence. There it is. Superb book quality. No AI connected. Stellar reputation. Yes, it's more like a review of the company and our history and things like that. Yeah. Anyway, let's keep it for now. That's separate. And then we can combine them later if we want to. But we want that.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do think that could be lower, but I mean in the hierarchy, like closer to shipping or something like that, because I think at that point that's where you start talking about it. But you're right, like maybe I do think we should have it. I think it's okay. If it's not folded into the why back now section, then it's fine.
All this stuff is standard. Then we get to world introduction plus company credentials. I thought it was weird that they put those together. So again, I would want this earlier, but that doesn't matter for now. Obviously we're going to introduce the world, but then
combining with the company credentials.
Yeah.
How did they do that?
It's funny, we did this just last week, and
I'm trying to remember. Was it I kind of remember them talking about.
I don't know, actually. Maybe I misspoke. I guess it was this previously section, perhaps? Like, talking about previous projects that they've done? Yeah.
Right.
So let me just delete that. I just want to mention that. Yeah, it's fine.
World introduction.
Yeah. They did have this section I thought was really great. It's like, what is the purpose of the books? Which I think we definitely should have.
Yeah, that's good.
Then previously, like, obviously we need to talk about Legends of Avallen against the Fairy Queen, so that has to be there as well. At some point. And then they have the book content synopsis. Was that really so late? Like, yeah, I guess so. Anyway, yes, we need that. Then they have a, like, more creative kind of storytelling way of introducing the world, I guess. And yeah,
flavor.
Yeah, flavor. What? How does storytell? Storytelly? I don't know. Storytell.
It would be. Well, usually we say storytell, Tell, like storyteller.
Yeah. Storytelly. Yeah.
But,
And then a new rule section. This is the part where I usually go crazy on, and the part that Moonsoon definitely went crazy on. And maybe I'm going to try and go less crazy on it, but I still do want a section for all these things. So, what do I want? I want clans, origins, fairy court renown. I don't know if the fairy blessings would be a part of that or its own separate thing. I guess it's probably a part of it, because what's the point of getting fairy court renown if you're not getting fairy blessings, right? Then fairy tricks, and then probably, I guess, to say new rules. Really, what we want to say is book features, right? The book features, clan origins, fairy court renown.
I mean, here you
go.
You talk about the. I mean, what do you call that? What you were mentioning about the sort of differentiated information between the players and the dungeon and the game master. That's a feature, right? Talking about the worlds.
Oh right, having the game master section and the player section and like.
Yeah, mirrored sections or hidden information. I don't know. We got to figure out the marketing for that.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
Yeah, secret GM. Secret GM deep lore, right?
Deep lore
secrets.
Yeah. I mean, I think talking about the fairy courts is interesting, right? Five Sealy courts or 5 fairy courts or whatever. Like, unique to our world, but it's inspired by mythology.
So I think, for example, I imagined for these sections, like, maybe I should retitle this. Like, I wouldn't call it clan origins. I would call it like the 5 clans, and then the artwork would depict the different clans, right? I should have an environmental piece for the Penlevy plus a Penlevy person, kind of like what's in the preview book, a little bit.
Yeah.
And then at the bottom of it, it should then be like, choose your clan, and create your character, gain your feats, that kind of thing, right? And then the small bit of text underneath it says that, there's 5 clans to choose from. Each of them have the different feats and character creation tables, that kind of stuff, so you can really belong to your clan, delve into the lore, that kind of thing. So really, the section wouldn't be clan origin feats. The section would be, here are the clans of Avallen, and sell you on that idea. Yeah, clans of Avallen. And then, exactly, you're right. Then it'll be the fairy courts of the noon. Yeah. And then we mentioned, I guess the thing is, so maybe I'm wrong, right? Like, if we have a section called Fairy Courts of the Noon, that sounds cool, but really we want to tell people that, there's a Fairy Court renown system, which is really cool, right? So, shouldn't that be a title? Or instead? Like, I don't know. How flavorful should it be and how informative should it be?
Probably, my gut tells me more flavor the better. People love flavor. Because
Monsoon did the opposite, right? Like, their title here is literally unique, playable races. Avatar boss battles. It's like telling you exactly what you're getting. And we would be like, Fairy Court renown system. And then, so maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the title should be informative, but then the artwork is the flavor part, right? Like it says
Right.
fairy court renown system, but then you see all the different fairy courts, and then
Well, if you were to copy or if we were gonna follow in the steps of Monsoon, wouldn't it be more like? Because if you say fairy court renown system, that already still has too much flavor on it, doesn't it? Like it's not descriptive about what you're actually getting.
I think it's pretty
for your
descriptive.
characters.
You get a renown system for fairy courts.
Well, the renown system is for your characters, right?
Yeah.
Like, who is it for? Like, who is it for? It's for
You
the
would say
players.
character renown system, would you?
I mean, I'm not saying I would, but
Yeah.
I'm wondering whether or not that would be more descriptive in that way. Now, okay, if you say fairy court renown system, it doesn't immediately tell you or describe to you like who it's for, if it's for the game master or for the players.
Well, I think
Does
it's
that make
very
sense?
much implied. Like I don't know. I might just be gamer language.
Yeah.
So, like,
Like-
whenever I hear renown system, I always understand it to mean that
Think it's for the players?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Then if you think it's clear, then it's sure. Then it's clear. Like, because I do think it's a little more abstract compared to like say subclasses or whatever. But you're right. Like, who else would get it? I guess the game
Yeah, it's
master
like if
would
you were
get it.
subclasses, like is that subclasses for NPCs? It's like, well, I mean,
I mean, technically, it can be. Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough.
yeah. So I guess maybe like we want a section called like game master support, right, to let them know that they're worthy, and that's where we talk about like secret deep lore, mapped adventure sites, and I do want to talk about the bestiary as well, like the folklore bestiary, bestiary with different tiers of knowledge, different. I don't know the sexy way of saying that. It's like well, we could check. I think we talked about it at the time when we did it on stream, so maybe we have something there. Tiers of knowledge,
Yeah.
kind of thing. Now, is that everything? I mean, there's magic items as well, but I don't think we need to make a big fuss about those. Although I guess they kind of, again, they have the same kind of system as the bestiary does, right? There's going to be different tiers of knowledge about a magic item as well.
Sure.
So I don't know if it's the same thing. Magic items. But I think that's kind of the main selling points, right?
I mean, you could probably. I actually like tiers of knowledge. If you just call them knowledge tiers with capital K, capital T, that sounds like a game mechanic.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? There's different knowledge tiers. And then
You're right.
Cool.
You're right. Let's do the two different things. So we've got folkloric monsters, and then we can talk about the bestiary, and then we can say knowledge tiers. Yeah. And that's true of everything. Yeah, you're right. Of the clans,
Yeah,
fairy courts.
and you apply that, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're
Say
totally
that,
right. Yeah. So this is true for clans, fairy courts, magic items, bestiary, everything. It's like a core system of the book. Yeah, you're right, dude. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, we did it. I earned my place at the table today. We did it again. We did it, guys.
Every day you prove yourself. Not that you need to. You've done it before. Countless times already.
I appreciate it.
Alright, so that's the main features then. So clan character creation, fairy courts of renown, fairy trick tower deck. Sorry, that's fairy courts renown system. Now, is it renown or renowned? It's renown, right?
It would be renown.
Yeah, renown system.
No ED.
Yeah.
Yeah, no ED.
Folkloric monsters, and then knowledge tiers, and then game master support. Yeah. Mapped adventure sites. Quest hooks, secret lore, that kind of thing. Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Alright, cool.
Look, we got some things on the board, guys. We're putting up numbers.
Yeah.
So okay, world lore in depth.
Yeah. Do you want to start? I want to finish with the sections, but then then we can talk about
Sure.
what goes in them. So VGT integration, this is still a maybe. And then I love the who are these books for section. Again, Monsoon didn't do anything like that, I don't think, but I think that's great.
Yeah.
And then detailed sustainability pledges, cool. Who was at its own games, and then go on.
I like the who are these books for. I think that should be higher in the hierarchy. I know we said that we can change it, but I want to have a conversation about that. Like, I think that's a cool thing to put earlier in your Kickstarter.
Yeah, think I agree.
right? Like, because basically what you're saying is, okay, like it's a secret of sales, right? Like, what you tell someone is, this car isn't for everyone. This is for a person who wants to have a happy, beautiful, fulfilling lifestyle.
Yeah, this book is for intelligent, sexy gamers. Is that you?
Yeah.
Is this the book for you?
So, obviously there has to be like, it has to be authentic, right? Like if you're really into wacky high fantasy sci-fi, this book isn't for you.
Yeah.
But we just tell people, if you're like this. And
Well, do you want to do that
like,
now? Do you want to? I mean, we've pretty much done those sections now. We could finish that. Like, who is this book for? Obviously, it's for Celtic lovers.
Yeah, Celtic lovers, lovers of Celtic and Fae, Celtic history, Celtic and Faerie, Fae, and folklore. But then that's like 4 things.
Yeah. Fae enthusiasts. I mean, we'll choose the words later. But,
Sure.
The other thing is people that want to learn, right? People that want to learn. So
that
Celtic
like also learning.
Celtic curious, Celtic curious folk. People that want to do like grounded folkloric fantasy in an Iron Age world, right? Like we are doing pre-medieval, not traditional high fantasy kind of setting. And then finally, folk looking for expansive world to try or to play or to use with their new 5e books, and folk looking for a new innovative RPG system, right? We cater to both those audiences.
Yeah.
So
now,
you go.
I'd have to look at the language of who are these books for. Would it be inappropriate to say like backers looking for an expansive world and backers looking for a new and innovative RPG? One, to avoid using folk too much, and two,
again, the words here are not relevant. There's the meaning of the words is
relevant
just,
to me.
Yeah. I'm just saying this is just us writing down notes. We'll do the words.
All right, with the details, yeah. But in terms of content, like the theme of the content, sure, I think that's okay. Is there anyone we're missing that we think would really benefit from this? Okay, one thing that another campaign we saw did well, that it wasn't like these books are for session. It just uses it as part of the marketing, right? They said stuff like, a world inspired by Game of Thrones and Full Fantasy. I'm not saying we say Game of Thrones or anything like that, but
true, but you're right. Like,
is that a pitch? Like, if you loved so and so media and so and so media, this is the book for you.
Yeah.
Right. If you love
the
Tolkien,
problem with that
and
is that there isn't really that much media to draw upon for Celtic.
Then maybe that's it.
Yeah.
Well, then that's a selling point too, right?
Yeah.
What you're saying is, if you want to delve into a world that isn't covered by a lot of mainstream fantasy, then this is the world for you, right?
Yeah. I guess I could put that to Celtic Curious, but yeah, maybe I could just rephrase that. Because like there's another Netflix show, dude. It's animated Western animation by Zack Snyder.
Sure.
And I saw the trailer for it and I was like, this could be Celtic, but it's probably Norse. And yeah, it's Norse. It's just always Norse.
Right.
There's like, I don't know how many Norse shows there are on Netflix right now, but there's only like one Celtic show that was released 10 years ago. And that's it. And it blows my mind. It's like, why? If Norse is so popular, Celtic is basically Norse adjacent. Like, I obviously not culturally, mythologically speaking, I just mean in the kind of stories that you can portray on TV, right? It's the same Iron Age, warrior, fantasy, adventure stuff. And it's why is it always Norse? I guess because everyone knows it, right? Maybe that's
or maybe Hollywood writers are really squeamish about depicting a culture of people that behead others and as your heroes. They're buying into propaganda. Well, okay, I think that's a selling point too. But there are still points like Tolkien was inspired by
true.
stuff, but then but then again, all fantasy inspired by Tolkien. So you can
I
go
know,
deeper.
but we
like,
really are, you know. The other ones are superficially so, but we have our roots in the same kind of roots
Well,
they used
okay.
to roam from.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
literally. Like I've
Yeah,
visited
and that's-
places that Tolkien's visited and you can tell that he was inspired directly from these locations, right? In the language
part of
and
the pitch.
stories. Yeah.
That should be part of the pitch. Like, if you want a world, I mean, we just gotta figure out how to word it in a way that doesn't take more than like one sentence. Or that can be finished in 2 sentences or whatever. You know, they don't have to be a paragraph.
Source material.
That inspired writers like Tolkien.
Based
and
on
the
source material that inspired some of the greatest fiction writers, such as Tolkien. Yeah.
Sorry, just a quick tangent on that note. I was reading and studying a bit of the was it Dream of Rhonabwy? How do you say it? Rhonabwy in the Meganogian. I can never say word names.
Yeah, I forget the name of it as well, but I know
the Dream of Rhonabwy.
Is it the Roman Emperor guy?
No, it's the one of like the guys who are like they're in the future. They're wandering around and they find the shack that they have to like fix, and then it's like a shithole, and then one of them falls asleep, and then he wakes up and he's like back in Arthurian times. And he's trying to like interact with King Arthur, and he just keeps playing a board game.
I don't know what he's talking about. What is this?
The Dream of Rhonabwy. It's the last story in the Mabinogion.
Is it really? I mean, I probably read it, just forgotten. Mabinogion.
Yeah, well, it's the dream of
We'll find out together right now.
The Dream of Rhonabwy. I can't say these words correctly. That's my
4 branches.
That's my crucifix the bear.
Dream. The Dream of Rhonabwy. Dates for tales, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, all I'm getting at is it's one of the least well-known stories. But as I was reading through it and listening to it, I was like, oh man, no one's made a movie about it because it's not like your typical like crazy ass Celtic hero. It kind of makes Arthur look kind of like a dickhead for like ignoring the guy who's trying to get his attention.
Yeah.
And so people consider it very literary, and it's actually, I suspect it might be the source of inspiration for like Mark Twain's A Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court, like a guy who goes back in time.
Right. Yeah.
And he sees that not. Have you read that, King? Anyway,
no, but you've told me about it. You've told me about it.
Yeah. So it's another great book, and there's not a lot of connections. So people have made references to a Connecticut King Arthur's Court, but I feel like that story is the source of it. And it's just not talked about. There's no movie called Dream of Rhonabwy. It's such a cool title too.
Dude, I don't think I've actually read this. I don't know how I've missed it. Like, it's clearly here.
Yeah, it's a very cool. It's a weird story. It's a weird story.
Yeah,
because he's talking about Arthur, and then they just keep playing. They just keep playing a fucking board game. They keep playing
chess. There's a chess, but it could be anything. Yeah.
Fitchell. Yeah, Fitchell. It's like the board game inspired by which is also going to make its way to our book, I would think. Anyway, all I'm saying is, these stories are massively influential. But if I talk about a story about someone going back in time or having a dream going back in time and talking about meeting King Arthur, the first point of reference is Mark Twain, a Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court. But he was probably inspired by this story because it's very similar in terms of plot, right? He must have been.
Yeah.
So anyway, sorry, that was a tangent to say that all this stuff is very cool and still pretty interesting and unexplored. And so we just need to find a way to talk about that and convince people to buy our book to be interested in it, I guess is what I'm saying.
Okay. These aren't part of the branches of the Mabinogi. There are additional Welsh tales traditions that were added by a translator, a compiler at some point. Yeah, but I do know some of these.
Lady Charlie did. And then it's in the Red Book of Her Guest.
Yeah. So obviously I know Talasheen. I know Colwick and Owen. That's a really big inspiration for us. I know the Dream of Maxen and Voldig. I think I know this one as well. This one that you mentioned, apparently I just looked over it a few times and maybe I read it.
It's a weird
years ago. Yeah, it is a weird story.
It's it's a weird story, but it's cool.
Yeah.
It's very in its sensibility, in its terms of its
Maybe we should rewrite the
kind of
book
modern.
to be from this perspective instead.
Oh, from a dream, like a
Yeah.
like a guy in the future
Yeah.
who like lays down, and then he has a dream of being
Yeah,
the speaker of the
His name's
modern
Kurt
age.
Sampson, and he's living in Japan. And
don't
he
make
lies
me-
down in a park.
yeah.
And, Anyway, what were we saying?
it's
Actually, I did want to put on record while we're talking about Tolkien. Want to put it in the annals of Digital's history. That to make the point here that we're inspired by the same stuff. I think just complete coincidence. I made the name of our clan peoples in Avallen the Varlik, named for the part of Avallen.
Oh yeah.
Now it could have been the Avarlik. I don't know why I chose to drop the A and just go with Varlik, because obviously you have Celts and Celtic. I don't know, but I chose Varlik. And then I've been reading recently a lot of Tolkien stuff, and I keep hearing the name, the Valar, which are like his ancient, like angel beings, and they live in a place called Valinor. And I just kept hearing Valinor, just thinking it sounds so familiar to Avallen. And then I looked it up, and there's no direct tie, at least I found yet, but he does have a location called Avallen, but spelt with a double L, like we have in Avallen, like the old spelling, as opposed to the modern spelling with one L. And it is an island to the west, just like Avallen in the Celtic Tales, and we know that he was inspired by this stuff. So, and it is Valinor. So I'm pretty sure Valinor, its name comes from Avallen, which means the Valar in Tolkien's world, the angels that create Middle Earth. I think it has the same etymological root as Varlik. Like, I think it's just a name of people that belong to Avallen. And that wasn't intentional by me, but I think we're just playing the same myth. So yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's argument to me that there's something instinctual about how this stuff works, right? Because it's just part of your culture. Yeah. Both as a modern person and as someone who loves history and fantasy and etymology. Yeah. So it makes sense that your instincts would follow that way. Oh, by the way, I have big news for you. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Since the stream started, we gained 1 follower on the Kickstarter. Let's go!
That refresh.
649.
Yeah, almost 650.
Need one more. Tell your friends. Can we hit 650 before the end of the stream in the next 30 minutes? Let's go. Yeah. Anyway, that's the thing. Okay, sorry. But yes, we are inspired by the same source material. And you also see that in fucking his writing. Like, Fellowship of the Rings. A third of the text is just him talking about rivers and mountains and where things are. Like, that's all the time. I think that's why a lot of people can't get through it either, right? Because like when you watch the movies or whatever, when you watch the movies, you don't deal with that. You're just
you get to see that stuff, but it's beautiful, right? But instead, you have to read this beautiful prose.
Yeah, but Tolkien, he was like a fucking pioneer, and he wants you to know that he thought about it, and that like this is he wants to make you feel that you're in a place that's real. Yeah. Like that's like his whole thing, right? It needs to have its own internal logic, and I love that about his fantasy. And I think sometimes, like you said, some fantasy doesn't do that, and whenever it doesn't do that, it pisses me off. I just hate it. I hate it. I just anyway, and it's hard to do. It is hard to do. So
all right.
Anyway, sorry.
So I guess the question is, we've done sections here, but is there anything here that isn't here that we want to include? And I think
sure.
YouTube video links. I guess let me check my previous list of things, see if there's anything missing. Opening, why back now, project summary, product sections, preview PDF, back with confidence, pledge levels, tiers, add-ons, stretch goal, summary, one instruction. Wait, this is the wrong one, sorry. Compatibility. We should have a section on compatibility, I guess.
I guess so.
On like what systems this is for.
Because the other that needs to be clear, and the other games don't have to deal with that because they're both. Yeah.
Well, funny enough though, they still do deal with it because like Monsoon's like, 5.5e is coming out, so is our book compatible with it? They have like a little thing. Yeah, they have this like one section here.
I see.
So we should have something like this, but mentioning Avallen as well and detailing that. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. But I guess that's kind of it. Review. Yeah. I think that's the one bit that's missing at the moment is compatibility. And I don't know if that needs to be. I mean, they put it near the top. I guess that's pretty crucial because once you get to the page, you want to know: can I play with this system? Like, what am I doing with it? Right. So maybe it should be near the start. Did they have anything like this? I think they just say 5e plus. That's it, right? I don't think they really say anything.
Yeah. There's also an argument for it to be made if we end up putting the who is this book for at the top. That could also be a point where you mention
True. Yeah. I mean, I do mention that it's in that section. You're right. But like, who's it for? I say it's for 5e players and for people looking for a new system. Yeah.
Yeah. So that could just be a point there.
But I mean, the issue with that is that if people gloss over that, they're still not going to find it. But I guess that's on them. And it does say in the description that it's for LOA and 5e. So.
Yeah. Because you're not here to sell them on 5e, right?
No.
Like they just have to know that you can use this with 5e.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's fair. Okay. Cool.
I mean, okay. I will say that it's hard to say what's missing without. If it's something we haven't thought about yet, then maybe it's like. I mean, the only way we know something's missing is with a reference point.
Well,
right?
yeah, I was referring to the previous sections that we've done before.
Previous section. Okay.
I literally. All right, cool. Then we can start talking about different sections. Then, what do you want to talk about first? I guess.
VTT integration. That's the thing I know the least about. So I am kind of curious about that.
We're not starting there.
Okay, fine. Preview PDF.
Should we start from the top? I guess.
Well, obviously, start with things that aren't like image heavy, right?
No.
And I do feel like this is. So, I don't necessarily know if we have to talk about the opening art with quote.
Yeah.
Maybe the project summary. I mean, okay. The other question is this a thing that we can just take from somewhere else and just use it?
As is, yeah.
Right? Yeah, like, for example, don't we have this project summary already written?
Yeah, we have like this here, but I think it needs to be shorter than that. To compare. Actually, no, to be fair, theirs is pretty long at a glance. Yeah, it's quite long.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's inside there is a simple bullet point list. So, yeah, I guess something like this is fine.
Yeah, I mean, and of course, I would just copy and paste it, and then we could always change it, right, and make it better, which is 100% okay.
Oh, dude, I'm getting pains again. Like, look at this text here, and it's like, yeah, this is fine, but it's better if you put it in, like, something like this, right?
Okay, and
have something underneath. Like,
so, I mean, we can,
yeah,
right? We will.
I think we will, yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. And maybe that's another thing you can start mentioning, right? The things that you want to put in a graphic, mark that clearly so you don't forget that this is what I want in a graphic, and you can start using it. Like, come up with your shorthand saying, like, parentheses, in graphic, text in graphic, or whatever, whatever way of calling it.
Like, TIG.
TIG, just remember what TIG means. Yeah. Well, we have it on the stream, so it's fine. We will remember forever.
Yeah, it's hard to know what. I think, like, my envision really is that every section should have, like, art with some text inside the art, and then if there's anything we want to say afterwards, then we say it afterwards in text. But, like, why back now? I don't know. It would seem bad to me if this is like near the beginning. It would seem bad to me to then just have text rather than doing something like what Historic Arcana did, right, where they had like that slab.
Right.
Yeah, the look of it is really difficult to decide on. I think for like, the book feature sections, that was easy for me. It's like, okay, we can have artwork showing stuff, and then we can have a little installation underneath. But these earlier sections, it's more difficult because you want to show off the cohesion and the styling of the world. And I do think, like on the Monsoon page, I really personally don't like this big block of text here.
Right.
So I'd want to avoid doing things like that. Yeah.
Okay. Is that so? Are you saying you want to make? Oh, yeah. Here's the Discworld. How
Yeah,
are they
so
doing?
Discworld one is just all text. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
But that's because they have humor, right?
They
This
don't-
is mostly asterisk text, which is part of the charm of it, and Terry Pratchett's writings, right?
Man, Chris. I mean, kudos to Chris. You know, getting this license and
Yeah, well, they got a lot of licenses, so I think
like
once you get a
they're
few, you can start
smashing.
getting many. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like he's knocking it out of the park.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Discworld's Discworld.
Yeah, exactly. We really can't compare to this. It's just all text. It's like we can't.
Yeah,
do
this
that.
is just
We can't afford to do that.
this is just a different thing. 6,500 backers. Good on you.
So, all right, you're right. So let's just write down here. This is pretty much all graphic. This will also be all graphic. Project summary at a glance. This is likely to be just a graphic. This is also a graphic. So the beginning is graphic heavy. That's fine. Why back now? This could be text, but it might be a graphic. If it is text, we'd probably move it somewhere else.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the
I
one
guess-
motivation for making a graphic as well is unlikely for us to have artwork on back. Why back now, right? Like, what art would we put with that? Like, it's more like just
well,
framing with text, right?
Chrissy would be able to make really cool iconography for it.
What does that mean?
Well, for example, if it's like mini for early, that's like a mini, and then if it's again, we have to talk. That's something we can talk about.
Like you say, like put each
You
point
can
and put like a symbol to represent that point. Like, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, and that's kind of interesting because that's also kind of a good sales point, and people understand the point like much more readily about why they should back your thing. That's something that we haven't seen people do, but I think that's good marketing.
But that is hard to do as well.
Yeah.
So like that's one of those things that will be done last. You know what I mean? Like we'd make it first with just text, and then if there's time at the end after doing everything else that's most important, can we put some graphical elements here? Maybe. But I'd have to plan it that we don't do that, right?
Sure.
Text. Graphic.
Yeah.
Project summary at a glance. Probably graphic. That's what that is. Product sessions. That is a graphic. Preview video. That's a graphic. Back with confidence. That can be again text or a graphic. I'm not sure. What about pressure levels? Yeah, I feel like this is not useful right now. What else can we talk about right now that's useful? World introduction, perhaps. What is Songs of Stone?
I mean, that's an interesting thing to talk about on stream. Have we talked about what is Songs of Iron and Stone on stream at any great length?
Yeah, we have a few times, I think.
We have?
Yeah.
Okay, so things are just kind of blending into each other.
I guess I need a list of add-ons. Yeah, go on.
What is our objective with these projects too? I mean, do we also mention the fact that our ambition is to do other Iron Age? I mean, we specifically want to say that our objective is also to do other Iron Age cultures, right?
Yeah.
And that could also be attractive for backers.
Yeah.
I mean, all this stuff just needs to be made then. Like you said, like I don't know if this is stuff we have to necessarily do on stream.
Yeah. Just something to start writing. Yeah, it might be. Alright.
Yeah, especially with our 15 minutes left.
Yeah. In that case, then, if there's anyone in the chat, if they have any questions about our project or making projects, or any ideas that you're working on as well, feel free to post them, and we're happy to discuss them.
I talked to there's a old friend who's like a dungeon master in this area, and he started picking my brain about Kickstarters.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just like, yeah, you gotta just start building your audience, or playtesting and all that stuff. He's an interesting guy. Maybe I can introduce you sometime. He does his job is doing psychotherapy or counseling using role playing games.
Oh, that is pretty cool.
Yeah. So and he does it. He was telling me about this one game. Damn it, I don't remember the name of the game. But it was cool. It was a world. An RPG where it's like a world overgrown by trees, and there's like airships that float on top of the trees. And
everything. It's Wild Sea.
Wild Sea, yeah. Oh, yeah, that sounds good. I've never played that. He's a big fan of that game. And I've offered to run Legends of Avallen for him in the near future when he comes back to Japan. So.
Oh, he doesn't live in Japan. Okay, cool.
He's moving back here. He used to live in Japan.
Oh, I see.
He'll be in the United States for a few more months and then coming back because he just got married. And is moving back here. So maybe we can use Legend of Avallen. And Legend of Avallen for counseling would make a lot of sense because it's very cooperative, right?
Yeah.
So I think that'll be a big selling point with him. So something to think about. Cool. Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm happy with this outline so far. If you're happy with it.
Yeah. I was just going to start diving into it, but yeah, you're right. I think I could just do this off stream. I think that's probably fine.
Oh, there's one thing that's missing. Maybe that. Wait, scroll down under pledge levels. Stretch goal summary. We could do some stretch goal summary. Is that something you want to do on stream? Stretch goal summary brainstorming, or is that something that's not you want to do off stream only?
I don't know. I don't like the idea of talking about things that we might do or might not do because I don't want people to get excited about things that end up not happening. You know.
Fair enough.
But there is. I have been like, I might do this now. I've gone through like the pricing structure of everything like multiple times, and I have to settle on something at some point. We have to decide on pricing at some point, and I won't do that on stream. That's so stressful.
No, I'm not. I mean, I got you. Okay. I do like that kind of thing, but you're right. We don't have to necessarily.
Well, I do want to have a conversation with you about it. Like, I do want to talk to you about it directly. Would have a voice chat and go through it. I think.
Sorry, stream. There are things that we don't talk about on stream, and apparently.
Yeah, finances is one of them. I don't want to. Yeah.
Yeah, talking about our stretch goal summaries on stream is not one of them, and that's okay. We have to.
Once we launch, it will be maybe.
Yeah, soon. Is that okay? Now, date. Is that a thing we can talk about?
I mean, I should probably to force myself to commit to it. But I can tell you we were originally planning to October, but we're now moving back to November, I think. So we're planning at the moment to launch early November. I think we have to launch by then. No one wants to be going during December. So yeah, it will be in a few weeks, literally. So I don't think I've settled on an exact date yet, but yeah, it's definitely in a few weeks. It is. When it says launching soon, it really does mean it. For us, that means we need to start getting stuff done, which I guess is me, really. I need to start writing this Kickstarter page. Which I'm now making me think that if we're not doing it on stream now, I kind of want to start doing it, so maybe we'll just end the stream early. And,
yeah, I'm okay with that.
Fine. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but thank you for joining the stream and chatting with us. Yes. And giving us your company, either spoken, Zilphia, shout out to Zilphia, or not. Other people who might be watching, that's okay.
Yeah.
We'll be here next Thursday, same Avunk time, same Avunk channel.
Sure. And yeah, if you go onto our bio page on Twitch, you'll find links to all our stuff. And we have a Discord as well, that if you ever want to join and ask questions in there, that's great too.
This is a great stream again, guys. Thank you so much, for your constant companionship.
Yeah.
And
we'll talk. We made your work more bearable.
Yeah, it's true. You made our work more bearable. Yeah, that's what I know.
Definitely true.
All right. True. So we will see you all later.
Yeah. We'll finish early.
We'll see you later. All right.
Later.
Okay, bye, guys.
Yeah, thank you, Sylvia. Take it easy. Now what do I do?
Till next week.